UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov takes place this weekend, and in this video we're going to be going over my picks for the entire main card. The first fight we're going to be taking a look at is Cory Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, the story leading into this fight is it's going to be Cory Sandhagen's striking versus Umar's wrestling. Now, you might look at the last name of Umar and think, oh my gosh, this guy's just going to run through Cory Sandhagen. But you have to look at the levels of competition that they've fought. Cory Sandhagen, in his last 3 fights, he beat up Song Yadong, TKO'd him, a doctor stoppage, but is what it is. Then he fought Chito Vera. He almost got robbed in that fight, but it was a very clear victory. He mixed in the wrestling and did a good job at controlling that fight. And then he also beat up Rob Font, which it's a decent win. It's nothing crazy, but it's better than anyone that Umar has fought. In Umar's last 3 fights, he's fought nobodies, no names, and he has gotten 1 finish in his last 3, but the other 2 have been unanimous decisions. And it might just be the way that he fights, it might just be his style, but with these kind of guys, you kind of have to be running through them. If you're like a true prospect who's supposed to be championship level, you can't be dealing with these guys like that. Like, you have to kind of get through them quick in a round. Like, think about Tom Aspinall this past week. Just destroyed Curtis Blades in like a minute and a half. He just ran through him, and that's at the title level. Now, obviously, this isn't heavyweight. This is bantamweight, so things are going to be a little different here. The power is not as crazy. The guys in general are more skilled. But if you are a rising contender and you want to get these big shots, or you want to have an opportunity at the championship, you kind of got to be running through these guys down at the lower level. So, with all that being said, I'm going to have to pick Cory Sandhagen. Another big reason I'm picking him is because he's got some nasty flying knees, some nasty knees. And if Umar's, shooting for the legs at the wrong time and Cory catches him with a knee, that's lights out, And Cory's experience at the top is just going to be a huge advantage for him over Umar. And I just feel like you can't count Cory out here. You have to go with him. So with all of that being said, I'm going to go with Cory Sandhagen by unanimous decision, 49-46 across all 3 judges. The next fight we're going to be looking at is Nurmagomedov versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Now, Nurmagomedov should win this fight. He's got so much better striking than Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. There's really not a lot to talk about here because this is kind of just a layup for Nurmagomedov. He should just walk through Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Now, I don't know if he's going to finish him per se, but I would say that he is more likely to go to a decision than finish him, but he should get the UD victory. 30-27 should be an easy night in the office for Nurmagomedov. The next fight that we're going to be taking a look at is Marlon Chito Vera versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, if you've been following these guys in their recent UFC career, you know that the level of competition that they've been fighting is not really the same. Now, Chito Vera recently is coming off of a title challenger loss to Sean O'Malley. I don't think anyone really expected him to win, but his performance in that fight was, kind of awful. He's 1-2 in his last 3, also losing to Cory Sandhagen, 3 fights ago. So that is not a great look for him. He did win a decision over Pedro Munoz 2 fights ago, but Pedro Munoz is he's not a real contender, I would say. No one thinks he's going to be champ. No one thinks he's going to, set this crazy legacy. Versus Deiveson Figueiredo has shown to be a championship level fighter. He's recently coming off a win over Cody Garbrandt, where he subbed Cody Garbrandt in the 2nd round at about 4 minutes. Before that, he beat Rob Font, and before that, he had a loss to Brandon Moreno in a title fight. But Brandon Moreno is a lot more skilled, a lot more well-rounded than Chito Vera. The only thing Chito has going for him is his chin is absolutely unbreakable. You are not going to be breaking through Chito's chin. There's just no chance that you're going to finish this guy on the feet. And so I think we're going to see Figgy take a more wrestling-heavy approach here. I think he's going to try to earn some respect on the feet early. Maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. But either way, I think at the end of the 1st round, he's going to shoot for a takedown and just let Chito know, hey, I can do that to you kind of whenever I want to. And then in round 2, we're going to see a similar story, except for this time, Deiveson Figueiredo, he's going to shoot much earlier. He's going to get the back of Cheeto, and I think he's going to choke him out in the second round. Next up, we have Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. Now, listen, to all you Tony fans listening, I know you want to see your guy get the win, but this just isn't that same Tony that went on the 12-fight win streak. I know we've been saying that for a long time now, but what, he's lost his last 6 or 7 in a row? I mean, this guy should have retired 3 fights ago. I don't know why he's still fighting at all. He has almost no chance against Michael Chiesa. Now listen, I know Michael Chiesa is not really the cream of the crop. He's not like some crazy guy who we all think is, doing great things, but Tony Ferguson just has no chance against this guy. He's not going to win a decision. He's not going to finish Michael Chiesa. I don't know if he will get finished per se, but he just doesn't have the ability to really do anything to Michael Chiesa. Now, this fight is also a welterweight fight, and Tony Ferguson traditionally fights at lightweight. Now, this weight cut that he's going to be performing here is not going to be as gruesome as it usually is, but it's not going to be great for him still. He's kind of an old man. He's taken a lot of damage. He said that he's put in 120 rounds of sparring ahead of this fight, and all I can really say is we've heard it all before. We've heard him say, oh, David Goggins is going to bring back El Kukui. I'm training so hard for this fight. The old Tony is back. And then, he gets flatlined by Michael Chandler. He gets choked out by Nate Diaz. He gets beat up by Paddy Pimblett and Bobby Green. There's just nothing that this guy can do to win a fight at this point. His prime is long gone. Justin Gaethje broke this man, and he's going to lose. I'm going to predict Michael Chiesa to win via unanimous decision. Next up, we have Mackenzie Dern versus Lupi Godinez, and I think Lupi Godinez is going to absolutely destroy Mackenzie Dern. Lupi Godinez is 5-0 in her last 5 fights. She's riding a 5-fight win streak, versus Mackenzie Dern is 2-3 in her last 5, and she's lost to, people that are good, but they're not the most crazy. I think Lupi Godinez is better on the feet than Mackenzie Dern, and although she might not be better on the ground, I think that Mackenzie Dern has some severely overrated ground game. I think people rate it way too highly, and I just don't see a way where Lupi Godinez loses to Mackenzie Dern. I don't think that she's going to get finished. I don't think Mackenzie Dern has, crazy finishing ability, and I think this one will probably be kind of a snooze fest with Mackenzie Dern attempting to use her wrestling and it kind of being nullified, but then not much happening on the feet. So I'm going to go with Lupi Godinez by a unanimous decision. Next, we're going to take a look at Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brenner. Now, listen, this fight might be the easiest fight to pick on the entire main card, and here's why. Elvis Brenner, every time he fights, he always gets hurt. Every single fight he has, he's always hurt, he's always almost out of there, but then his opponent kind of gets into a scrap with him, and Elvis Brenner just kind of pushes through and makes it a dirty man's fight and just gets out. You cannot do that against someone like Joel Alvarez. He's so much taller than Elvis Brenner. He's got a huge reach advantage, and that's going to play a significant factor in this fight. I think Alvarez is just going to back him up. He's going to find a moment where he's able to tee off on him, and he's going to put him away. I'm looking at a late round 3 TKO, and I'm going to go with Joel Alvarez. Alright, with all that being said, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.